Okay people, attention please. Stop the litter, stop disease. Imagine what the world would be like if all the trash was gone in a strike. But no one's stopping you really. It's just that the consequences are gonna be real deadly. You see, some pollution thingy would be found out hanging around with your mommy earth. I'm so sorry, stupidly adding up and 2 per north. But it's actually true, that the guy pollution not only comes alone, brings with him a babbling, bumbling band of baboons that would for real make you swoon. Then there's air, water, land pollution along with global warming and stuff, ensuring you a real unhealthy and doomed lifestyle if that wasn't enough.
Apart from all this pollution, we also have our economy, honey. Because clearing up of all that is a task and it isn't for free. Requires all that mummy money. Coming on to the topic of clean water, dear spectators. Would you like to bathe with water that's full of germs and has been flowed down the drains of your houses? Might sound pretty disgusting to you all. But deep within your hearts, you know that is the truth after all. And who's responsible for all of this if we were to verify? It's the fault of about 7 billion people. Not gonna lie. We do not ask you for your contribution in the Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, which is far a good deed. That's because it's the earth we want clean and not our Instagram newsfeed. So please, let's not pollute our green lands and turn them into deserts. Come on, let's take a pledge together because every little bit hurts.
Good morning, everyone. For the past 1.5 years, all our lives have been impacted in unimaginable ways. From working from home turning to a reality, to online learning within the comfort of our homes, to bearing the loss of millions of people related or unrelated to us. This new disease, which has lingered on for more than 18 months now, has left us with little choice in terms of choosing the new normal. And at the same time, COVID-19 is just one of the things that is crashing on humanity in the current times, while the problems and diseases of the past continue to haunt and affect us, both adults and children, in unspeakable ways.
With that being said, we, the students of class 9th F, are going to focus on water crisis that has wreaked havoc on the lives of nearly everyone at some point, with COVID-19 only making it worse with each passing day. The only difference is that for some it has been a minor inconvenience which could be forgotten with the help of money, whereas on the other end of the spectrum there are those who've lost their lives as a consequence of lack of water, lack of clean water, as well as lack of proper sanitation. Through this special assembly based on the same theme, we would like to bring attention to how every little bit hurts while looking at the 6th goal of the Sustainable Development Goals, that is clean water and sanitation.
Dee, have you read this article in today's newspaper? The one that talks about the newly introduced Sustainable Development Goals?
Oh yes, I did just a few minutes ago. Isn't it interesting to see how carefully these goals have been chosen and modified as per the existing world scenario? I find them way more realistic than the ones included in the Millennium Development Goals.
Millennium Development Goals? They do ring a bell. I remember reading this term in class 8. But what do you mean by more realistic?
Do you remember reading about Stockholm and Brundtland Commission and how they have always been associated with the United Nations?
Yes, I do remember reading a lot about the UN in political science.
Correct. So one of the major things done by the UN is the introduction of these MDGs, which was done around 2 decades ago, and goals such as eradication of poverty and promoting gender equality were to be achieved by 2015. Since these goals are collective goals, they require each and every individual to put in his or her effort to bring about a change, and not just the makers of the goals. The achievement of MDGs is dependent on a variety of factors out of human control, and therefore these MDGs were modified and SDGs were created in 2015 as a result of the gaps in the implementation of MDGs.
Wow, slow down. So now, these SDGs, are they any different from the MDGs? And do they favor collective action by only the member countries?
These SDGs are more specific as there are 17 of them, unlike the MDGs which were only 8. And yes, they favor collective action by all the countries and not just the member countries. And that is why it is written in the article, there is no plan B because there is no planet B.
Yes, I found that very catchy an app, and it does make a lot more sense now. And you know what I think is the best part about these SDGs? Even though they sound ambitious, they also seem to be more achievable because they integrate all three aspects of sustainable development: social, economic, and environmental.
Absolutely. If we have to turn this planet around and make it feel more like home, even a toddler has to be taught to throw the trash into the bin.
Yeah, look at me here. I remember my mom and dad telling me the other day how I used to love sitting in that small pool for hours, and I would ask it to be filled every few minutes.
You're right. I think it was a favorite thing, splashing water all over and creating a mess every day.
Indeed, even now, if I think about it, it still fills me up with the same kind of joy I felt as a child. But it makes me feel guilty at the same time. Being aware of the current water crisis and yet choosing to go ahead with something like this.
Wow, I did not see that coming.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to drag you down, but think about it. On one hand, there are people who are walking miles and miles to get potable water, and on the other hand, there are people who are dying because of lack of sanitation. And even if we don't think about it at the global level, our society itself faced shortage of water supply last summer.
The last summers, how can I forget them? All I wanted for it to somehow pass. I guess what you're saying makes a lot of sense. I mean, we were taught as kids to never waste water and how we should conserve water.
Exactly, and I think it has been the need of the hour for years to take huge steps to address this problem before it becomes the monster living in our closets.
Before it gets off hand, I'm to think that water crisis that a lot of countries are facing at present is merely at the tip of iceberg. How about you and me start something of our own, like a social media thing to spread this message forward? We could start with attention-grabbing national and global facts that highlights the water crisis, then moves to the 6th SDG, which focuses on clean water and sanitation as a global goal.
That does sound pretty neat, and we could throw more light on the goal itself, like how it has been made to prevent the present situation from getting worse and to ensure availability and sustainable management of water and sanitation for all, and that by 2030. It plans to achieve universal and equitable access to safe and affordable drinking water for all. What do you think?
Finalize our next steps tomorrow and let us change this world one step at a time.
Mom, what is this? Every day for the last 1.5 years, we have been woken up by Swachh Bharat ka irada kar liya humne, desh se apni ye wada kar liya humne. It is so irritating to be woken up like this, and we can't even complain.
What do you want to complain about, beta? The fact that someone gets out of the bed early in the morning and collect the trash that you don't want to go out and throw?
Oh, Mom, of course not.
Shall we? It's because of youngsters like you and your friends that the Swachh Bharat Abhiyan has witnessed progress. You should be proud of your peers and grateful to these people who sacrifice their sleep and step into the dirt so you don't have to get your hands dirty.
I agree with you, Mom. And we used to have multiple cleanliness drives in our schools to motivate us and to spread the message of Clean India, Clean Schools. And it actually turned out to be fun because at the end of the day, not only did the school look cleaner, but we also got more time to hang out with our friends. And it was lovely to see smiling faces, cleaner spaces all around.
Shall we? A clean space has the ability to light up the dullest of the faces, and while we are on this subject, why don't we create a page on Instagram to spread the message of clean school and the need of separate toilets for boys and girls in each and every school? Isn't that right, Instagram?
You're so cool. I'll get started with it right away. But hold on. Does the need for such a creation means that some schools do not have toilets?
Sadly, yes, Shavi. That's the reality. But instead of focusing on the horrific picture, why don't we invest our energy to spread the goal of cleanliness cleanliness and put a smile on the faces around us. Come on, you go start with the creation of the page while I'll whip some pancakes for us.
Mom, I've been feeling very sick. I have a terrible stomach and headache.
Yes, Mom. I am also feeling very weak and nauseous.
Did you eat something after playing today?
Yes, Mom. We had some shaved ice with our friends.
Why? How many times I've told you both not to eat anything from outside? Last year also you got infected after eating something from outside. Come on, get up. Let's go to the doctor and get you both checked.
Hello. Ma'am, what are we looking at here?
These two had some shaved ice from a local vendor and now they're feeling sick and nauseous.
Shaved ice, I see. Have you been feeling any pain in the stomach?
Yes, doctor.
Beta, do you know what kind of water is used to freeze it so it turns to ice? That water is very contaminated and full of germs and chemicals and is very harmful for our body.
We understand, Doctor.
You know, this kind of water is perfectly capable of doing irreversible damage to our health. And at first, it may seem like nothing, especially if you recover from the pain in a few days. But in some cases, the effects of contaminated water are not noticed for several years. And it can get pretty serious, like the nervous system getting affected and damaged.
How do we know that the water is contaminated?
Well, first of all, avoid eating street food or food cooked in the open, as the water used to cook it may not even be potable. Similarly, drinking water from outside is a huge complete no, as contaminated water like this usually doesn't have any weird or foul smell. So this makes it almost impossible to detect it.
Doctor, what's the best method to ensure that the water we are drinking is not damaging our bodies?
Well, make sure that the water is filtered, and in other cases, boiling the water also helps. But in both the cases, make sure that the source of the water is clean and hygienic.
I'm sorry, Auntie.
What?
We're sorry, Auntie.
What are you doing? Who are you? Why are you giving us this card and apologizing?
Maybe we made a mistake. Isn't that why you're punishing us?
Punishing you?
Yes, you're dirtying our beaches, the water. You're throwing anything anywhere. You're not only hurting us as individuals, but also the harmless and voiceless marine life.
Why do you care? Do you live here?
Yes. Is this your home? Are these fishes and turtles and crabs your pets?
Only our home isn't our home. This city, this country, this planet is our home. And these water animals are just as much an integral part of our ecosystem, whether we realize it or accept it or not.
Exactly, Auntie. You'll go away tomorrow and it will be our home then.
Oh my god!
What's happened, Didi?
Shanti Didi, what is this? Why is this thing so dirty? All utensils are lying around like that. The entire kitchen is stinking and water is overflowing from this thing. And even these insects have started flying and crawling.
But that's only what you left last night, no?
Yes, Didi, I was working yesterday till late night and I was too tired to clean it. But you have been here for the last half an hour. Why haven't you cleaned this yet?
Didi, we also work very hard from morning till evening. You get to relax and sleep in late on the weekends, but I don't have that luxury. I not only have to go from house to house and get my hands dirty, but also do the same when I come back home late on the evenings. But I'm sorry to say this, keeping your kitchen and your house clean is your responsibility first. I'm simply there to lend a helping hand.
I'm sorry, Shanti Didi. I truly appreciate all that you do. It's just seeing this mess made me lose it completely. I do realize my responsibility.
Didi, your reaction was normal.
No one likes to see any kind of litter around, especially a kitchen like that, which becomes the breeding ground for so many weird looking insects. And the monsoon these days just makes it even worse.
You are right, Shanti Devi. I do need to fix this really quickly. I'm going to get started on this and throw out all this trash and these insects. Until then, you can clean the bathroom because that's one more place that insects apparently really like. And then together we can clean the kitchen.